The presenter of the Mid-Career or ASTDA Achievement Award is Dr. Susan Tuddenham from Johns Hopkins.
Well, thank you, and I am thrilled to present this award to Dr. Rebecca Brotman. So, Rebecca grew up in Texas, and you can see some lovely pictures of her here with her parents. She then attended Washington University in St. Louis, majoring in political science, but then got interested in public health and decided to pursue an MPH and ultimately a PhD at Johns Hopkins. Now, Rebecca was always an academic superstar, very studious, on the straight and narrow, but somehow at Johns Hopkins, she fell in with a rather unruly crowd, and their ringleader, whom some of you may recognize, let's say, lured her to the dark side, to the field of STI research, and the rest, as they say, is history. So this is Rebecca's PhD defense. You can see Jonathan Zentelman, Anne Rompalo, and many others. She then spent some formative time at the NIH working with Mark Klebanoff, and ultimately joined the University of Maryland Institute for Genome Sciences, where she swiftly became an assistant, associate, and then full professor. So Rebecca has really dedicated her career to research at the intersection of bacterial vaginosis, the vaginal microbiome, and sexually transmitted infections. Early on, working with Jane Schwebke and Mark Klebanoff, she showed that BV is associated with an increased incidence of gonorrhea, chlamydia, and trichomonas. And working with Richard Cohn and Jonathan Zentelman, she showed via Nugent's score that the vaginal microbiome can fluctuate rapidly, which has important implications for study design and data analysis in the field. With her move to IGS, Rebecca joined a really exciting new field of vaginal microbiome research, which has really taken off over the last decade, pushed forward by scientists around the world, many of whom are in the audience today. But working with Jacques Ravel and others, Rebecca has really been at the forefront of the field. She published some of the original papers on the topic. She holds multiple NIH grants and leads teams who have shown and continue to look at the associations between the vaginal microbiome and susceptibility to or persistence of sexually transmitted infections. And beyond STIs, her research looks at the impact of behaviors, personal hygiene practices, and hormones on the vaginal microbiome, and has expanded to look at the role of the vaginal microbiome in menopause and its associations with actually a variety of urogenital infections. So really, Rebecca's work over the last 2 decades has combined with that of many others to form much of the foundation for this field, whose goal is really to develop novel diagnostics and therapeutics to prevent STIs and improve reproductive and obstetric health. So I know Rebecca cares deeply about this goal of improving reproductive health for people. She's also, I think more than almost anyone I know, somebody who is genuinely excited about the pursuit of science and new ideas. So I can't tell you how many times she'll email me a paper at any time of day or night saying, look at this amazing new study out of Seattle or Alabama or Boston or Australia or South Africa. And I think it's that excitement that's one of the things I admire the most about her, and one of the things that makes her such an inspiring mentor. So I first met Rebecca in 2013 when I was an ID fellow, and she's been one of my mentors ever since. I will say I count that day in 2013 as one of the best of my life, because to get to be a mentee of Rebecca's is truly a privilege. I think all of us would agree there's no one who's more generous with her time, more dedicated to advancing our careers, or who cares more about each of us as a person than Rebecca. She knows all about my research, but not only that, all about my kids and my family and all aspects of my life. And speaking of kids, Rebecca is not only an academic superstar and a fantastic mentor, but she's a wonderful wife and mother as well. She's so dedicated to her family, to her husband Ryan, and their 2 beautiful children. So Rebecca, over the last many years, you've become so much more than a mentor or a colleague. You're truly a friend too. I can't tell you how much it's meant to me, really over the last 3 years in particular, as I've tried to negotiate job and life and being a mom through the pandemic and beyond, to know that you're only a phone call away. So from the bottom of my heart, from all of us at Johns Hopkins, University of Maryland, and beyond, Rebecca, we all love you, and we are so excited to see you get this award.
you.
Let's take a picture. Picture, picture. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me put this. I'd just like to start by expressing my appreciation to the ASTDA. Recognition from one's colleagues is the most significant professional acclaim. And all the milestones I've achieved reflect all of you, the extensive mentorship, training, guidance that I've been so fortunate enough to receive. And as Sue introduced, my passion for STI epidemiology, public health, and research was ignited by Jonathan Zentelman there in the middle during my first year at Johns Hopkins. Really, the opportunities, the education, the motivation that he offered, extending beyond my doctoral studies and into my professional journey, and basically just yesterday as well, have been invaluable. The significance of his contribution to my growth cannot be emphasized, and for this, I'm immensely grateful. Thank you. So in 2007, I took a leap out of the nest and went to the University of Maryland School of Medicine, where Jacques had recruited me to be a postdoctoral fellow. That was at the dawn of the NIH Human Microbiome Project. Now, Jacques is a microbiologist, genomicist, purist, for those who know him, and he saw in me a collaborative potential with my epidemiologic training to help us launch our longitudinal studies on the vaginal microbiome and the role in incident STIs. And having the chance to collaborate and share the professional space with Jacques has been an extraordinary honor. And so with the launch with Jonathan and Jacques, I was really just have had the most immense sponsorship. And just want to thank them. Are there's alarms going off? Do we need to be worried about? Oh, weather, okay. I've been incredibly fortunate to be surrounded by a very large community of fabulous colleagues, and I just want to name some of them, and some of you are here today. Khalil, Sue Tuddenham, Anne Rompalo, Charlotte, all of you at Hopkins, Supriya, if you're here, hi. And then many collaborators from other locations around the world. Carl Yeoman, a friend and colleague at Montana State, Kat Bradshaw, Michelle Chardell, my right hand and statistician, Mark Klebanoff, and many, many others have been there for me with such insightful perspectives and really unfiltered truths. Their camaraderie and enthusiasm have made this an enjoyable place and field to work in. And I wanted to stop by mentioning my current mentees. I've got 4 in the room, and I hope you all have stopped to see them and see their talks and posters. Sarah Brown, Sarah Robbins, Joanna Holm, Kayla Carter. Know that the privilege of being your mentor fills me with deep gratitude. Witnessing your ascent, your accomplishments, and your evolution is the greatest reward. And I'm so delighted, I was so happy to see that Dennis was receiving the Distinguished Career Award today. He probably doesn't remember, but we had a dinner in Bethesda where he encouraged me to pursue the effect of personal lubricants on the vaginal microbiome. And I did, with much trepidation, because I thought, how is the NIH going to fund this lubricant study? And his insightful encouragement proved to be a cornerstone in my professional journey. I am and will continue to be inspired by his unique approach and commitment to the field. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you.